Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to kind of hit on a couple of reasons as to why the Nintendo Switch may actually be a better deal for you than the Xbox Series S. Now, I think I've already done a full comparison between these two, so it shouldn't be anything new. But considering the fact that the Nintendo Switch came out a couple of years ago, it's very interesting how there are still some areas where the Switch may actually be a better deal than the Series S. Now, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is both these consoles have their pros and cons. There's not one that's necessarily the best one, but starting off, I'm going to do the same exact video for the other one too, the other way around. But the very first reason why I love the Nintendo Switch over the Series S is the portability. Now, even though the Series S is the smallest Xbox console they've ever made, it still doesn't compete with the portability that the Nintendo Switch currently has. Now, with the Nintendo Switch, you can bring your controller and everything straight into one console, and you can dock it up if you want to, but you can also take it around with you, and you can just, plug it into USB Type-C port on the back or on the front, and pretty much be set. And that's one huge reason why I love the Nintendo Switch. All the games are compatible. It's not like you can only play certain games on the TV and certain ones not. It's not like that. You can just take the entire console with you in one portable console. With the Xbox Series S, you don't really have the, that type of capability. The closest thing you can do is, remote play from your Xbox Series S to your phone. But even then, you're going to have to bring a controller with you and all that crazy stuff. And if you forget that, then you're pretty much screwed. On the Nintendo Switch, everything is right connected to the, console itself. And with one USB port, it can go and charge everything without having to constantly plug other ports into the controllers and all that stuff. So for sure, the portability aspect of the Nintendo Switch beyond just, taking it with you is really something that I really, really love about the Nintendo Switch. Now, the second thing, the availability of the Nintendo Switch. You can just go anywhere you want to right now on eBay or anything and realistically pick it up. Now, there have been a couple of, times recently where it randomly got off market and, a lot of people were trying to pick it up and all that stuff. Now, unfortunately, that still kind of seems to be the case, but I have been to Walmart recently, I think Best Buy too, and I was able to see some Nintendo Switches and Nintendo Switch Lites for sale. So it's definitely getting better for sure. So what I can tell you is currently, as of right now, the market makes it a lot easier for you to go pick up a Nintendo Switch than to pick up an Xbox Series S. So that is an insanely important thing to keep in mind. If you can pick up an Xbox Series S, then by all means go for it. But the Nintendo Switch may be a better option for you. And that kind of leads me into my third thing, the price tag. There has been a little bit of a markup for Nintendo Switches in the, resale market. But because they're available pretty much everywhere, you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can go to Craigslist, you can go to eBay, and, have a higher chance of picking one up for less of a resale value than the Xbox Series S. Even though they're both the same price, the Nintendo Switch has been out for a couple of years, and the Xbox Series S just came out. So currently, as of me making this video, you're going to have an easier time buying the Nintendo Switch and a cheaper, cost for the Nintendo Switch than the Xbox Series S. So that's another big advantage. And because the Nintendo Switch has been out for a much longer time, you're going to have more games technically that are available for the Nintendo Switch right now than Xbox Series S games. Now, I understand the Series S is backwards compatible, so there's a lot of games that you can play with it right now, but for that specific title release of that game, the Xbox Series S games, I still think there's way more Nintendo Switch games that are available. And one big good thing that I love about the Nintendo Switch is that if you actually want to go and, play games online, you don't necessarily have to have a Nintendo Direct account or whatever it is to play those games. On the Microsoft side with Xbox, for a lot of these online multiplayer games, you're going to have like an Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Gold or whatever the case is. And that does kind of suck, for someone like me. I don't really need to want to pay a monthly subscription just to play free online games. With the Nintendo Switch, you don't really have to do that, but with the Xbox, you kind of do. So that definitely kind of sucks in a way, and that's another big thing to keep in mind. And the last thing I want to hit on beyond everything I just already did is the modding capability that you have on some Nintendo Switches. Now, on the newer ones, you don't really have that capability, but with the Nintendo Switch that I bought, I was actually able to modify it, and I was able to do a lot of different cool things with it that I'm not going to say in this video because I don't want to get it demonetized, but I had a really good time with it, and honestly, I was super happy I had the opportunity to do that. I don't know if the Xbox Series S is ever going to have that. It probably will, but because these manufacturers are closing down their consoles even more, with each and each iteration of consoles, I can only imagine that quite potentially the Xbox Series S is going to be one of the most secure consoles ever. And because so many people were having, problems even modding the newer Nintendo Switches, it makes me think that all these consoles are pretty much not going to be able to be modded. But with my Nintendo Switch and for a lot of these older ones, you basically had that opportunity of doing so. So those are just a couple reasons as to why I would recommend picking up a Nintendo Switch over an Xbox Series S. Again, both these consoles have their pros, some have their cons, and I don't really think there's one that's the 100 times better one. but here are just some reasons why that happened to be the case in this video. So that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly, everything else of every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.